All right, call the meeting to order. If you would stand and face the flag. That's Billy Dallas.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Billy. Next item on the agenda is approval of regular meeting minutes from November 6th. If everyone has had a chance to look over those, if there are any questions, entertain those. If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve those.
I make a motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Clayton, second by Gina. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Next is approval and ratification of bills.
This is probably one of the biggest bill lists some of these
That's what I
new
was getting ready
council
to say.
members have seen.
I was gonna ask Lori, how often is the bond payment paid?
I think that one there is a yearly one.
Yearly one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Are there any other questions about the bills?
I have one. Under the utilities part of it, I mean, I know we have to pay it. Is that saying that the Little League Water and Sewer, is that what the LL stands for?
Yes.
Was $1,279?
That includes their irrigation over there. Tammy, was there a leak over there again this past time? I don't recall one. I think it's just their irrigation, isn't it?
Irrigation, yeah, and blowing everything out.
This is just for the past month? That's all.
They also, that was combined with the Veterans Memorial, so they had planted, put out grass seed and stuff, so that had to be watered some also.
That's all.
Okay. Anyone else?
I got one.
Okay.
Lori?
Yes.
Sorry, I had marked this, but then I overlooked it. There's a fire department contract labor. What kind of-
Okay, what vendor is it, so I can follow you?
It's an individual,
Okay, who is it?
Trenton Van Meter.
Okay,
What kind of contract labor is that for?
that was the painting of all the fire hydrant
I got
tops.
you. Okay,
I think there
thank you.
was 400 of them
A
there.
little over
Gotcha.
400,
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
How did the color scheme work out, Mayor?
Good, as far as I know. I checked on him a couple of times, and
We're okay on the color?
I think so. I think we're good on that, so.
We'll have to watch the ones that were painted blue, because when you mix red and blue, you get purple, and some of them that were red and are now blue are kind of
Are they changing a little?
just a bit.
Yeah, that paint is supposed to be reflective too, to where they can
But we can
tell
tell
what
they're
it is.
blue.
Yeah, okay. And there may be some, I know they've been testing fire hydrants in the last week and a half, and I know they've scratched some of them up, so we'll have to go back and they're supposed to be keeping a record of that, the fire department is, so we'll have to go back and check some of them, so we'll check some of those blue ones too and see that, because we had some paint left, so. And it's not cheap paint, it's the nice stuff, I guess, for the cost of it, so. Okay, I'll entertain a motion then, if there are no other questions, to approve the
I'll
ratification.
make a motion to approve the bills, Mayor.
Motion by
I'll
Billy,
second.
second by Clayton, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Visitors, do we have any visitors that want to address the council? Tammy, I'm not going to forget you this time. And you don't have anything this time, right? So you do? Okay, well, good. Yeah, sure.
Last week, Christy and I attended the Kentucky Recs and Park Society conference, and I was honored to present Keith Pierce with the Professional of the Year Award at the conference. KRPS was celebrating their 70th anniversary. Just to give you a description, the Professional of the Year recognizes an individual with more than 5 years' experience for their outstanding contributions to the profession of Parks and Recreation, an individual that goes above and beyond, that demonstrates distinctive leadership and meritorious services to our profession. And there's only one award given out each year, and Keith received it.
Good deal. Congratulations.
Yeah, it took us,
It was good.
it was a group effort to get him there.
He deserves that.
But what it
award.
takes
He
to
does a
do
good
this, it's
job.
just not a nomination. We have to collect letters from the community and, of course, from the mayor and any public officials. There has to be 12 letters, and then we have to write out a application and then provide them with pictures. So I was really honored to be able to give that to him this year.
Yeah.
Can't imagine a harder working person than he is.
If we could just get people not to throw their cigarette butts down, because that's what takes them the longest, is picking up all them cigarette butts, but that's okay. He still does it, yeah.
You
He's
might recognize
tremendous.
him at the Christmas party if he's there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's tremendous.
Yeah, he does a good job. Lori and I went over to attend the ceremony, and he was surprised. I was surprised that they got him there,
Yeah.
and got him dressed up. So, but he was surprised, and it was a good event for him.
He was not happy with me at first.
He was happy to receive the award, but maybe a little unhappy that he didn't get to hear, who was?
Chris
Chris
Allen.
Allen speak.
They told him Chris Allen was going to be there. That's why they got him over there. So. Okay, no other visitors? Okay. We'll move on to the next item, approval of the Grayson County Home Care and Hospice Proclamation. It's on the back of your packet there.
We'll just need a first and second motion and all in favor on it.
Okay. We did that been about a week ago, hasn't it, Lori?
I think so, yep.
I'll entertain a motion to approve that, to recognize it.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
Terry, second. Regina, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. First reading of amended ordinance related to utility commission member pay monthly instead of per meeting.
There we go. Whereas the city of Leitchfield, Kentucky has enacted an ordinance providing for the specifications and compensation of the members of the Leitchfield Utility Board, and whereas in order for the ordinance to reflect the current payment method being utilized by the city of Leitchfield to members of the Leitchfield Utility Board, it is necessary to amend the current compensation specifications. Now therefore be it ordained by the city of Leitchfield, Kentucky, that the ordinance passed on 10/7/68 with amended ordinance 2004-8 passed on 6/21/04 is hereby amended as follows, with deleted portions being indicated by a line drawn through them and encompassed by brackets, enclosing them with added portions being underlined. Section A, all members of the commission, so long as they are commissioners, shall be residents and taxpayers of the city. All appointments shall be until their successors shall have qualified. Any commissioners by appointment shall be eligible for reappointment upon the expiration of his term. Each commissioner as such shall receive reasonable compensation monthly, as may be fixed from time to time by the commission, subject to the approval of the city council. Each appointed commissioner shall be removable for cause by record vote of a majority of the members of the commission. And this is a first reading, so we won't take a vote until next time.
Okay. Are there any questions or comments concerning that ordinance? Okay. I need a motion now and a second to go into executive session.
I make a motion.
Motion by Clayton,
Second.
second by Tootie, all in favor,
And that's
that's
for,
a-
go ahead.
Oh.
pending litigation.
And that's subject to KRS 61.810(1)C pending litigation.
Entertain a motion to come back into regular session.
So moved.
First, motion by Billy, second by Clayton, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Earlene?
Just wanted to give the council an update. There are two pending cases that I had an update to give the council to. Recently, there was a mediation held in one case, and another case is currently on appeal with the Court of Appeals, and just wanted to update the council on those cases.
Thank you, Earlene. All right, on down the agenda. The next item is unfinished business. Code enforcement amended ordinance for condemned property.
Tyler and I have not got a chance to meet. We're actually meeting tomorrow to discuss a road issue, so we'll try to get some time in on that tomorrow.
Okay. Planning and zoning compensation ordinance 151-15 needs to be moved from the Joint Planning Commission section to the Leitchfield Planning Commission section.
Mayor, that's one we talked about last meeting, and I asked Arlene to look at that one before we did anything to make sure she didn't see anything, and I hadn't got a chance to talk to her about it. Did you get a chance to look at that one, Arlene?
I briefly scanned over it. I'll draft an ordinance amending and get that on for the next agenda.
Well, I don't know that we necessarily need to amend it. I think American Legal just put it in the wrong section. I
Oh,
think
yeah,
we
this
just
is
talked-
what- yeah.
I think we just talked.
Yeah, we discussed this, and sometimes they do categorize things differently than they are actually in the books, and this is just another example of that.
But if you
yeah.
didn't see anything, I'll go ahead and get with them tomorrow and
Yeah.
have them move that to the correct section.
Yeah, I got my ordinances mixed up here.
Okay. Next is ordinance relating to Joint Planning Commission 151-10.
I guess that's mine.
Okay.
That's an ordinance from 1970. Talked to the county attorney, he wasn't aware of it. Talked to city clerk at Clarkson, they weren't aware of it either, and they're going to see if they could find it, or he was going to see if he could find it in the notes. But basically, it looks like it was a joint planning commission for Leitchfield, Clarkson, Caneyville, and the county. It sets up commissioners, the numbers to be appointed from, I think it's 12, with cities getting 2 and the county getting whatever's left, I guess 6. But in essence, I don't see there's any need to even keep it on the books. It's a,
Yeah, and this is the one I was meaning that I will get a ordinance together repealing that ordinance and get it on for the next meeting. And I've saw that in the books before, and it does, like Denny said, it just looks like an old project that just never really got off the ground, so.
Okay.
Can I add something to that? When I was reading this, it kind of reminded me of our current Industrial Development Committee and like the reason behind it. And I'm wondering if somewhere between 1970 and 2023, if maybe the title of the commission
Shifted.
somehow shifted, specifically with like the number of members that it says are on this committee, and that it's like the mayor of Litchfield's on it, the leader of Clarkson's on it, Caneyville's on it, and the judge executive, in addition to adding 8 more community members. So I'm wondering if this was, especially because if you look back, like in the 1970s is whenever we had to have something in place then to start recruiting all the manufacturing that was being brought into Litchfield and Grayson County at that time. They didn't just randomly appear. And a plan that, Lori, what was it called back a few years ago? That strategic planning, that report that KLC did, and it specifically states in there that the 1970s and the 1990s were the biggest years of like manufacturing. We brought in more industry, more employment during those times, and that time frame kind of coincides with maybe what this started out being. So before we just completely repeal,
I'll look and see if I can trace any more history with it and see if it was the foundation for the development board.
there's just too many coincidences between what we have in place now and then what they had in 1970, especially like with the members, who was a part of this joint planning commission, and like who we have on the industrial development committee. There's too many coincidences between the leaders of it, how the chairman and the officers of that were appointed now and then. So can we just look into it a little bit more before we do away
I can
with
trace
this?
the history on it some and see if that was.
It also referenced enact bylaws, and its purpose was for a comprehensive plan for Grayson County, so that'd be very different than the industrial development.
Exactly, and that's why
I don't see it's any.
That's why I was kind of wondering, I mean, we have a planning and zoning committee, and they are actually working on on a comprehensive plan for Litchfield. Mayor, do you know, I mean, does Clarkson also have?
I don't
Like,
know.
do Clarkson and Caneyville, do they have comprehensive plans that they work on?
I'm not sure, but I think, I
I think they
know what
require
you're,
by law. Isn't all cities required to have comprehensive plans, Tyler?
And then would the
Yeah.
county also have one?
I don't know.
So,
I would think
Yeah,
they
I believe
would.
so.
If it's required by us, I would think, unless it's a class thing, you know, a city class, they might be exempt from it being a certain class city. I'm not sure, but
I was gonna say, this is comprehensive, doesn't it fall under planning and zoning?
Comprehensive plan falls under planning and zoning, which is optional. Okay, so they don't have to do that, but the strategic plan,
okay.
isn't that it's more geared towards cities
It
and,
is, yes.
now that may be a requirement, but comprehensive planning is only tied to planning and zoning.
And Clarkson doesn't have
Yeah,
planning and
no.
zoning,
Planning and zoning
Caneyville
is-
doesn't have planning
We're the
and
only,
zoning,
city in Grayson County that has
And
it.
the county doesn't.
And the
have it.
county doesn't have it either. Now, a joint planning commission is if they wanted to jointly have planning and zoning together. That's what that is. That's why there's members from each city and the county on there. If we wanted to do it collectively as a whole through the county, you could have a joint planning commission. But that's still not a requirement. If Caneyville wanted to do planning and zoning in the city of Caneyville, they can put their own board together. You know, they don't have to include us at all. But a joint planning commission is set up to where each city and county collectively takes care of planning and zoning within the county.
And that's governed by the KRS, Tyler?
KRS 100,
That covers every bit of that?
yeah.
And that could be some of what you mentioned too, Terry, because it does mirror the IDC somewhat. So it might be, when you're checking on it, Arlene, see when the IDC was actually put together.
I
and-
will, I
and
will.
That
So-
may tell us something.
So Tyler, are you saying that if Clarkson had a comprehensive plan and Caneyville had a comprehensive plan and we had a comprehensive plan and the county had one, and this joint planning commission, I mean, if we had one, could we not all individually, our cities have our own comprehensive plan and then collectively come together? Because, I mean, our ultimate goal, yes, we want the best for Litchfield, but, I mean, our ultimate goal would be for the county as a whole, all of our cities.
Well, I mean, so if they wanted to, they would have to adopt planning and
Each-
zoning.
Yeah, each city
Yeah.
and the county itself, and I'm
So,
I'm
and
not
then,
being a negative Nancy, but I don't know that we're there.
yeah, if they choose to adopt planning and zoning, then yes, they would be required to have a comprehensive plan. But City of Litchfield is the only entity in Grayson County that has adopted planning and zoning.
Okay. But Arlen,
then-
can you do some checking and looking back?
The history to see if it's, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's not too far.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I can't, when did the state put out the planning and zoning? Denny, are you familiar with that?
I don't.
I can't remember how, it was back in, I'm thinking in the sixties, maybe even the fifties, when they first put out provisions for planning and zoning, and it may have been something at that time
Yeah,
that
yeah.
the county, you know, they looked at doing, but it may have never got off the ground, because, I mean, you can look back through the minutes, City of Litchfield, they discussed planning and zoning for probably a good 6, 8 years before
It was
actually
in the
adopting it.
eighties, wasn't it?
What's that?
When we had planning and zoning, when we developed planning and zoning.
No, it didn't go,
99.
it was voted on in 99 and went into effect in January 2000. But I think it was being discussed in council meetings for 8 years previous before it finally went through.
Gotcha.
So that may have been something that was discussed at the fiscal court and then the cities in the county, but just never did go through. So,
That's probably what happened.
but,
So, no, I don't see any
Which I
reason
don't-
for it
I
to
mean,
be
I'm
on
like
our books.
Arlene.
It's just something there that's taking up space.
she can go back and look at it. I'll go through and look at the ordinance and see what I can come up with before we just completely repeal it, but
Yeah. We'll go back and do a history lesson.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Highland Terrace, Shawna Drive, gate at the end of the road. After we talked about that, last meeting, I spoke with Judge Henderson the next day, and he wasn't aware of any problems, any issues at the time, but he was going to look into it, and I haven't heard back from him what they decided to do. I was kind of the opinion, the times that I'd been down through there, that the gate stayed locked, but I don't think it does all the time, but they may have corrected that already. I haven't heard anything back from anyone, so. I'm supposed to be in a meeting with him tomorrow morning, so I'll ask him about that, see what they actually decided on that. Okay, unfinished business, Billy,
No, sir.
Terry,
No.
Judy,
No, sir.
Clayton,
No, sir.
Gina,
Your meeting that you all, we're on old business, right?
unfinished business,
Unfinished,
yeah.
never mind, I'll wait for old business.
That
Okay.
is old business.
That is, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the meeting that you all were gonna have about the, county or the city announcements,
Oh, yes.
couldn't think of.
We actually, we did sit through a webinar, or a Zoom call on it, and Dwight and I actually, me and the mayor were impressed with it, so we wanted to try and get Dwight on, utilities on board with it too. So him and I sat through it again this morning, and he is interested in it. I think the cost for a year was about $9,500.
Seemed like a really neat item to have. It's actually an app that goes on your phone, and it covers a lot of things. There are some ways to track scheduled work and work orders with it, which would be handy. So it would allow office staff and stuff to be able to look back when somebody calls and see what had been done, what hadn't, place to put notes in when you get something done. So it's pretty extensive.
It is.
And I think it would be a good thing for the city, just from the simple fact that that's the direction our population is going in with apps, phone-based stuff, iPad-based stuff, so.
The guy that we talked to actually sent me a couple just quick slideshows on it. So I got that this afternoon, so I'll send that out to all of you all to look at, along with what it's gonna cost us, because that is not in the budget. So if we decide to do that, we will definitely have to amend the budget to include that.
Can you access your bill and do bill pay through this app?
It actually takes you, there's certain buttons that take you to our website to where you could, it links you right to the website, so you could still,
If this is the program, like if we had a water leak that you can send out to, or if City Hall's gonna be closed?
Yeah,
Okay.
anything garbage rates or
Yeah.
garbage pickup was a day behind, or any,
Okay.
it does get a lot of bang for your buck, I think, with it. Seemed to involve pretty much any operation in the city, I think, Lorraine.
it does.
Yeah.
I think as far as like the water leaks and stuff, that will be more of a challenge, because we'll have to put numbers in there and make sure everybody has the app for them to be able to be notified on the app to get the to get the alert and stuff. Because when you're talking about water leaks and boil water, that doesn't affect the whole city, so it can't go out to everybody. It only has to go out to those individuals that are affected. So that might be a little bit more cumbersome to get put in there, but we can talk to him to see how to go about doing that, because you only want those select people to get that notification. You don't want the whole city to get it.
Yeah, and it's, like I said, it's got a lot of neat uses for it, and, you know, I think in the end, it'll be a good thing for us if we decide to do it, just from the standpoint of convenience.
Yeah, and Dwight was really impressed, so, I mean, you know, he talked like utilities would be on board, so, but I'll get you all that information tomorrow, and
In my past experience, one of the big issues is getting people to download the app, to actually have
Right.
the app, so we'll have to do some work on that. Probably through the customer windows here, and maybe a mailing, something, or some newsletter that we put out, something like that, but. Okay. Anything else, Gina? Okay. Denny?
Owensboro Health agreed to release their right to purchase the property, and I talked to Brittany, and she deposited our $1 check. So the 10.4 acres will, so we can see what we can do about getting some funding for
Yeah, that's,
our project.
I think that's a very worthwhile project. A lot of people in the community I've talked to are really high on it, and this is the first step in that process. Next step, we'll be looking for funding, and if we get the funding that we hope to, then we'll be able to move forward from there. So, but it looks like it could be a possibility, a good possibility of it. So I think as time goes on, we'll have more information about that. Okay, Lori?
I don't have
finish?
anything.
Earlene?
No, just thank you to everyone who reached out to me and everyone's thoughts and prayers and everything, so thank you all for that.
Wes? David?
No, sir.
Tyler?
No, sir.
Okay. All right, let's see here. New business. We have ordinance relating to adoption of program for community improvement, 151-01.
That's mine again. That was an ordinance enacted in 1961. And it's one I would propose just getting rid of. I couldn't find anything. And unless Lori's got, she keeps workable program available during business hours for us to go look at.
Do what now?
The ordinance provides that the city clerk will provide, a workable program will be available for people to come to City
Okay,
Hall.
yeah.
And I'm sure you have that.
Yes, don't you know it?
Yeah. From my limited
I
research.
couldn't find anything, what I looked back through on anything for it, so.
It looks like it's something probably the federal government enacted in the 50s. Or
Okay.
57, which was a
Tyler,
great
have you
year.
looked at this one at all?
No.
I mean, a lot of what's in here, he's right, looks like it's from about 1957, the Federal Urban Renewal Program, which dealt primarily with slum clearance and redevelopment program. And then our ordinance was passed in 1961.
I'm sure that whatever's in this one's probably outdated, because the statutes, there's statutes for things like this, but I'm sure they've been repealed, renumbered, and rewritten several times since the 60s, so. I've never ran across this one, so.
Do we have ordinances currently in place for slum clearance and redevelopment programs?
Well, as far as the clearance part, that's what our code enforcement's doing, but redevelopment, that's just gonna come, I mean, you get a CDBG or something like that, but that's gonna require somebody that's experienced in grant writing to help, but
So
as
what-
far as clearing abandoned or blighted properties, that's what we've been working on for the past couple of years, so I don't think this ordinance would have anything bearing on what we're already doing.
So what's your recommendation on this one?
I'll skim through it But if it's nothing we need, I'd say we repeal it.
Okay. You want to give that a look, Tyler, and Lori, we can put it on the next agenda, maybe give him time to look at that. Okay. Any other questions on that item? Okay. New business, Billy?
No, sir.
Terry?
No, sir.
Tootie?
No, sir.
Clayton?
No, sir.
Gina?
No.
Danny?
No.
Lori? Earlene?
No.
Wes? David?
I do. I just want to let the council know that our 3 new cruisers are at the outfielders right now, so it should be a short period of time we should have them.
Great.
Okay. Tyler?
No, sir.
Okay. Other reminder, there will be an animal shelter committee meeting on December 4th at 5 p.m. Not sure which side of the table that is, but,
This side.
That
This
is,
side,
that
okay.
side again, yep.
okay. The annual fire department dinner will be December 2nd at 6 p.m. If you could, let Lori know maybe tonight before you leave. Miss Willie had called and they're wanting a head count. So if you plan on going, if you've got plans on taking anyone with you, if you could just let her know tonight before we get out of here. And that'll give them a expectation of how many to cook for, so. Okay, the December chamber luncheon will be December 14th. If you plan to attend, please let me know by Monday, December 11th. So you've got a few days on that one. Okay, if there nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion.
Motion by Clayton,
Second.
second by Tootie, all in favor?